Good morning. Sorry. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing pretty well too. Thank you for asking. So, how has your day been so far? It's weekend. Anything special for weekend?
Well, I wake up really late on weekends, so I just woke up around 30 minutes back.
Oh, okay. Yes.
How about
No, my weekend, unfortunately, it has to be the same because I have kids. So, it has to almost be the same routine. Yeah, they go to school,
okay.
so I have to wake up
Hmm.
early.
So where are you from?
I live in Karnataka. I'm from a small city called as Raichur, which is in Karnataka. So, yeah, before we go introducing yourself,
Well, sure. My name is Sanjana Arora and I'm from Chandigarh. I'm a certified IELTS and French trainer.
okay.
So that's all about me. And apart from that, I like talking to people. I'm also an anchor. I host multiple events. I've also been a commentator for cricket matches, and I host fashion shows, some political events, and yeah, that's more or less about me.
Oh, wow. That is like you have wear so many hats, right? You're an anchor, you're a trainer, very inspiring. Okay. That's very nice. Like, were you interested in anchoring and all these things since your childhood?
Yes, I would say that I started public speaking at the age of 4, I would say. So from the time that I am speaking, I am doing public speaking.
So when we
So
start
I,
doing, Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, please complete.
yeah. So I was just saying that it obviously, like as for all school kids, it started with me hosting school events. Then we have a lake here in Chandigarh. It's Sukna
Mm-hmm.
Lake. So
Mm-hmm.
my mother just pushed me to stage once when I was around 9 or 10. I ended up hosting that event all of a sudden, and from there somebody else picked me up for some other event, and then that chain kept on being continued.
Okay, so I was telling that once you learn something from childhood, you're not aware of it emotionally, like feeling scared of people because you're kind of careless. I mean, you don't care much what people think when we are children. Because if you are learning English from when you're a child, you don't feel that much of a pressure. But once you grow up and you start feeling that it is a pressure on you and you have to learn, so that is a different kind of feeling. So did you ever feel the fear of public speaking?
Well, no, I've never had the fear of public speaking, to be honest. And that has been the same from the childhood, I would say. I can't remember myself being scared or even nervous while going on stage. But definitely, when it is a huge competition, you
Hmm.
always get some jitters, which are not because of the fact that there is public, but it is more because of the reason that you are going on an occasion that is really special to you. And I think that nervousness should always exist because it
Hmm.
actually gives a sense that you are serious for something. And I think that's really important in life. If somebody is like having a I don't care attitude, then I don't think that the person would be able to succeed for a very long time. So jitters should always exist, but being scared and nervous is something that must be avoided.
Hmm. Okay. So since you were already anchoring, what was the reason like you chose to do something like a TEFL? That was because you wanted to enhance your communication, or what was the story behind it?
Well, the real reason behind that is that I've always been an IELTS trainer. Like, I started training students for IELTS, and I would say my first students were definitely my cousins. So
Mhm.
I started teaching them. And then eventually I realized that I'm very good at explaining things. And my mother has also been a teacher. My mother was an IELTS trainer, but then she shifted to some other profession. She was an IELTS trainer when I used to be in school. So I used to attend her IELTS classes. Right when I was 12 or 13 years old, I used to sit in that group. So that was something that I was being conditioned to right from the beginning. But I would say the end game was never for me to be an IELTS trainer, and it is not because I believe I'm quite young and I'm having multiple things to explore. So this is something that I'm doing in between. But I strongly believe that whenever I'm doing something, I should definitely have some certifications to provide me the credibility.
Correct.
Where
Correct.
if a person talks to me, a person would get to know that I'm having that command over the language and that information set which is required. But if a person is not talking to me, there definitely should be some certificates and documents to back up the qualification that I have. So that was the reason for which I opted for this course. And also, I am moving to France as an English teacher for 7 months in an exchange program. So I thought that it would be an addition for that as well.
That is the reason I think. How did you learn French? Because you're also giving classes, French classes.
Yes, French also I started learning when I was in school. I would say my mother was super active with me. So she enrolled me in Alliance Française, which is the main institute in India for learning French. She got me enrolled at Alliance when I was in class 7th, if I remember clearly. So for class 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th,
Mm-hmm.
I completed my French till level C1, but I did not do it for the C2 level because I was not available in my city at that time and I was a child. So moving to another city for learning a language did not seem to be a wise idea. So yeah, that's the reason why I started learning French. And then French is definitely a language that anybody who starts will fall in love with, although it'll take away the life from you because it is quite difficult when it comes to grammar. But you'll end up falling in love with the language because it's a very soft language. And eventually I developed an undying love for languages. And now that I'm planning my departure to France, I'm also planning that over there I'll get opportunities to learn German, Spanish, and more languages. So I like learning languages.
Very nice. Okay, so since my channel is more about English learning, so
Hmm.
could you share some tips on fluency, how to become fluent, or how beginners should start learning English? Because even I have been learning English since I was a child. So if
Mhm.
an adult wants to learn English, wants to start from now, so what are your tips for him or her?
Well, this stands true not only what I'm going to say is true, not only just to learn language, but to learn anything in life when we
Yeah.
become an adult. Well,
Mhm.
even though we say that I started learning French when I was a child, it was actually a time when I was in my senses. And I think it is considered as a period of adult when you know that you are learning something, because in childhood we don't know we are learning the things.
Mhm.
So number one, when we start to learn a language, try to learn it with poems and songs, because that will bring the words to your brain automatically. You won't
Mhm.
have to stress upon them, right? The second thing is, I know that we say that the problem is that I can't speak,
Correct.
but the solution is that you have to speak.
Mhm.
Now, with whom you can speak? I think the best person to speak with initially is yourself. Self talk, self pep, and mirror and your phone can be your best friend. So,
Mhm.
talk to yourself, record yourself. And having said that, I would like to add that, as I mentioned, that I was into public speaking right from the beginning,
Mhm.
but I exclusively remember that every time when I had to go to stage for a debate competition or declamation, I recorded myself at least 10 to 20 times in my phone, and I used to hear back those recordings and see where am I making a problem. And I think that is what helped me. So I think your best teacher for speaking is you yourself. So
Mhm.
you should listen to your voice, because the way your brain is going to capture what you are saying, your brain won't capture the voice of any other person on this world. So record yourself, listen to yourself again and again, and you'll say that within the matter of 15 days there'll be an improvement. So this is what I tell all my students, because when students come to me, there are many who don't have any skill set or any knowledge of English language. So I have to train them from right from the start and help them reach a band score of 6.5 to 7, which is a big deal. So to them I always give them this advice that record yourself and keep on listening to yourself. And people who are extremely scared, for them shadowing technique can be a solution, but
Mm.
shadowing technique can only be a step one. The step two is to listen to your recordings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm. And the next question was about shadowing itself. For whom is it suitable shadowing if they want to do, and what are the benefits they'll get out of it?
Mhm. See, first, shadowing techniques. What is shadowing technique? First, we need to understand that. Shadowing technique, as the word suggests, it's that we become shadow of someone else. Over
Mm.
here, we are becoming shadow of somebody else's voice,
Correct.
right?
Mm.
So when we were a child, what we used to do, I always relate every teaching pattern with what we learned during our childhood, because what we have learned in our childhood is what we remember, and what we learned after being an adult, we hardly remember. So when we were a child, the teacher used to speak, we used to repeat after her.
Mm.
Fine. So what we were doing, we were subconsciously just doing shadowing, and we have never forgotten those things. And we used to also observe that whenever we used to have a teacher, we used to start becoming like her. We used to start talking like her. So
Yeah.
that happens. With shadowing, what we end up doing is that there is a video or
Mm.
there's an audio, and
Mm.
you have to follow the speaking pattern of the other person. So in that, the first benefit is that you don't have to think what you have to speak. So that's why I say that it is only the first step. The people who
Mm.
are extremely scared of English,
Mm.
and for them, thinking in English and speaking in English at the same time is a fear that is imprinted in their brains, right? So for them, I believe shadowing technique is the best way forward, because in that they can just condition their brain that I just have to speak, I don't have to think. So they won't be having that hesitation that they'll be making grammatical errors. And
Correct.
people are usually scared not of speaking, but of the fact that they'll end up speaking incorrect. So,
Mm.
with shadowing, this fear does not exist.
Mm.
Second, it helps in building fluency in the sense that you are able to understand where you need to take a pause and where you need to maintain a continuity. And third, which I believe is the most important benefit, is the psychological benefit. When
Mm.
you are doing shadow practice, even though you are just repeating after another person, your brain starts understanding that I can now speak in English. Even though
Mm.
it was just repetition, your brain just starts thinking that I can do it. And after some time, when you start doing it independently, your brain is better able to accept it, because the brain thinks that I did it before, so I can do it again. So I think it's all the matter of how your brain is able to conceive the things. And I think shadowing technique works really well in this matter.
Oh, wow. Like you are so knowledgeable. You have the right answers for whatever questions I was seeking. So it was a very nice explanation. And the teacher thing, what we do when we are children. So my daughter does it now, dressing up like their teacher and standing in front of a board. They even imitate their body language and how they should be speaking, right? That was a very nice example. Okay, now when it comes to confidence, right? When you're practicing by yourself, it is different, but when we have to talk to people, you need a great deal of confidence to do that. So, what are your tips on building confidence?
See, the first thing is the confidence is going to come when you feel confident from within. So
Mm.
that is why I always say that you should first start by developing a skill set in which you are able to feel confident when you are alone. See, when we are in front of people, now this is also an observation that I've had.
Mm.
When we are in front of people, we can sometimes even fake confidence. But when we are alone, the
Mm.
real deal steps in. Okay. So I think the first thing that everybody in this world needs to work upon is to feel confident in their self, and that is not just in terms of language, but in terms of everything, their personality, their skin, their body shape. Because in the age of social media, there are many factors which have come to play which are trying to harm our confidence. So this is one thing that the person should initially work upon, that start feeling confident in yourself. And then we move to talking to other people. When we are talking to other people, I would first suggest that start with your friends. Okay.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that, can you just give me a
Yeah, yeah,
second?
yeah.
My
Go
dog
on.
is on.
Okay.
Just a second.
Yeah.
So I was saying that when you start speaking to other people, just try to find people who are at same level of yours in the beginning, so that
Okay.
you are not scared of the fact that I might be very wrong and they'll judge me wrongly, right? Because
Hmm.
the fear of judgment is sometimes what makes us underconfident.
Hmm.
And having said that, I do not support this idea that there are some people who are better, some who are not. But definitely, you have some pre assumptions in your brain. And if you can fight the demons that exist in your brain, trust me, you're going to be the most confident person. And confidence does not come from language. I really believe that living in India, there are so many languages that are spoken here. So, language can never be the criteria on which you can decide if you're confident or you're not. I never speak in English with my friends in
Hmm.
my family. I don't do that. I haven't ever done that. I either speak in Hindi or I speak in Punjabi. And I feel extremely confident. When it comes to talking English, I am equally confident. And that is only because of the fact that I'm confident with my personality. So once you become confident with your personality, you will become confident with the language itself. So that is one thing that I really want to suggest to everybody.
Hmm. Yes. So the last question would be, it is just coming into my mind. Since you were a child, you were put into these stuff like learning French or anchoring. So were you equally interested in them, or you were like pushed to do things?
No, no, I have been very interested in everything of this earth, I would say. I
Oh.
have been good at studies, like I was always a topper. So I used to manage my studies. I used to manage all my activities. It was not limited to just anchoring. I was into dancing. Singing is the only thing that I can't do. But I was into dancing. I was into public speaking, and I used to enjoy it. I vividly remember that I used to come back to my home after my school at around 8 to 9 p.m. because I used to have so many classes, and I used to change my clothes in the car. I used to eat my food in the car. So, and I was never tired. So I think I have extra energy, and everybody functions in a different way. If
Yes.
I'm assigned only one task that I just have to study, I won't be able to do it. I need multiple activities so that I get a sense of achievement every single day.
Hmm.
So I do multiple things, and I've been doing it right from the beginning. And I was a very playful kind of a child who'll go to all the strangers to talk to them. I'll narrate them stories. I'll sing them poems. My aunts tell me that on the day of their wedding, I used to sit in their lap and tell them the poems the entire time on the day of their wedding function. And I used to start calling them aunt before even the marriage was decided. So I was always a very talkative child. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's how I've been, and I've always loved it. I was never forced to do anything, but
Hmm.
whatever my mother decided for me, I think that was because she was able to understand the kind of personality I was having, and she really worked extremely hard to groom it. And I would say, I don't know how she was able to understand a child who could not even speak, but I think that's a talent that mothers have, or
Hmm.
at least mine has, in a way that I can't explain. And I'm not a mother yet, so I won't be able to put myself in her shoes to tell that how she managed it.
Hmm.
But I think she understood what I wanted and gave me exactly that.
Hmm. And also, I think the city that you live in, you had advantages, right? Because it is a big city and you will have facilities for most of the things if you want to learn something. And if a child is an introvert, is it a good idea to force them to do things or just leave it to them that, okay, you do what you like doing?
I think children should not be forced to do anything.
Hmm.
And If a person is an introvert, it does not mean that the person is not going to talk to others, right? Being an introvert means that a person is going to keep the things that are important to him or her to himself or herself. Because though I talk a lot, I'm not an extrovert at all. I'm an introvert. Okay. And
Hmm.
introverts are not the people who don't talk to other people. Now this is an assumption that is being created, once again I would say, by social media. But introverts are actually having the mindset that they don't want to share too much with others. They want to hide their emotions to themselves. So talking to other people is an another thing, and children should be encouraged to talk to another people. And that is because if they start doing that,
Hmm.
they'll start becoming more confident. And confidence is to be built right from the beginning. But yes, if you are forcing them to talk to a particular person, then that for sure is going to destroy their childhood, is going to put some unnecessary pressure on them. And I've actually observed it because I had a student who was a child, and the parents were actually forcing her to study French, whereas she was not interested. And I had to explain it to the parents that she's not interested. Please don't do it. Fine. But when it comes to talking to people, your children, anybody's children, would love to talk to children of their age. So that is the stage from where you can start, but don't force them to play. There are some children who don't like to play. Don't
Yeah.
force them to play. If they like book reading,
Hmm.
give them opportunities to book read with friends. And here I would also like to talk about, it does not matter if you live in a big city or you live in a small city. You need people, right? And people exist in all sorts of cities. Fine. So create a group of people and start talking. Here I would also like to give you an example of a city, Panipat. It's in North India.
Okay.
A few years back, Panipat did not have many opportunities. But once it started growing economically because of business,
Mm-hmm.
families over there started building groups of their own, and they started having small events for their children. And those events, which were organized by a group of families itself, that also help the children to develop and to groom their personality. So this is one thing that I don't want anybody to feel bad about, that oh, I don't live in a big city so I won't get these opportunities. You can create your opportunities. You just need to have that willpower. And now that we're living in the age of social media, the opportunities are existing on your phone itself. You just need to open what kind of debate you would like to participate in, and you'll get multiple options. Same
Yeah.
goes for any other event that you are interested in. So wherever you are, just know what you want to do and find out the ways for yourself. And for children, just let them play, let them grow, give them different kind of activities and analyze what interests them, and then give them more of that. So that's what I think.
And I think there is a fine line between encouraging and forcing or pushing your child to do things. Okay, yeah, okay, then anything else you want to ask me before we wind up the session?
Well, I would say that first of all, being a mother and being able to manage YouTube is a commendable thing that you are doing, and your children don't disturb you. That's even a bigger thing. So, kudos to you and to your children as well. So, I would really like to know how you manage your day. How are you able to manage between children, then your YouTube, and then also able to take out time for yourself? Because that is what mothers often forget to do.
Yes. We'll come to the part of how I take time out for myself. So, this is my me time. Joining people, talking to them, working on my channel. This is my me time. And I don't have to remove time for this. And secondly, my children, when they go to school, I try and finish my household chores and start my sessions or doing working for YouTube during the day before they come back home. So, after they come back home, mostly after they go to sleep, I'll do some editing, uploading, so I'm really passionate about doing this. So that is how I'm able to do it. So it is no rocket science because they are out at school like for pretty good 5 or 6 hours. So at that time, I try to find time for myself, which is doing YouTube because it's two in one. I'm passionate about doing this. So that is how I got the idea, and that is how I'm doing it.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I checked your channel. It's really interesting.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And coming to your channel, you post mixed kind of content, right? Like when it comes to IELTS or something like a vlog or English, it's like a mixed kind of content. And I found it very interesting. You're talking about confidence building and some other things. I don't remember because it's been quite long that I checked your channel. I think I contacted you more than 10 years, 10 days, sorry, 10 days ago. Okay. So I don't
Yeah.
remember. But I checked out and I saw that you have different types of topics that you post on your channel. So that is yeah, very good. You're also removing time for YouTube, which is not easy, sincerely, honestly.
Thank you. Actually, the thing is, I post mixed kind of content because as I talked about myself, you must have understood that I have multiple things that I do, right? So I do what I like to do. I'm not taking YouTube as something that I'm like doing for somebody else. I do YouTube with the point of view that what I would like to do, right?
Mhm.
So whenever I'm interested in something, I end up doing that. And now that I told that I'm moving to France, I think my channel is going to become more of a travel vlog. And I'm planning to rename my channel from learning with Sanjana to living with Sanjana. And in that, I think I'll be able to, merge all the topics even better, like teaching,
Mhm.
learning, exploring places.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what I think about.
That's a very good idea. And if it is going to be something like travel and showing France to us, I would definitely follow you. Okay.
It's definitely going to start. I'll reach France on 27th of September, and I'm going to bombard my YouTube with those videos.
Mm. Yeah, you should do that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
then. Right then, we'll end up the session now. It was really nice talking to
Yeah.
you, and you accepted the request, right? That is like you're busy with your own work, but you accepted my request and chose to be on my channel. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for contacting me. It was lovely being here. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye bye. Good luck.
Okay, bye bye. And
Right. Good luck for
thank
your
you.
future. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. All the best. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.